How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. MSTR MicroStrategy, it's coming Friday to the QQQ. They just got approval. They're going to be part of the NASDAQ 100, and they're going to be forced, different funds are going to be forced to buy MicroStrategy. We'll talk about what that means for Bitcoin, what that means for MicroStrategy. There's also some other pretty interesting news, including different countries' national fire brigades adding Bitcoin to their balance sheet, a ton of buying from the ETFs, a big announcement that's happening in a few hours, and then a big announcement that's happening tomorrow, a little bit later than the time that you're seeing this or the time that I'm recording this. So let's get started. If you don't mind, hit subscribe, turn on the bell notification underneath the video so you can see future videos just like this. Also, if you hear something grunting, someone grunting, I had the baby with me, so I apologize if you hear any of that, but he wanted to come to work today with Dad. So let's look at this. Obviously, Bitcoin has done really well over the last day. There was a bit of a shakeout yesterday, setting a higher low. It's interesting. You have a low around 90,600 when a lot of people got shaken out right before Thanksgiving. Then you have another one around 93.6, another one around 94.2, another one around 94.3. So we're setting some higher lows. Of course, there are some lows in between, but overall, nice bounce here from where we were at yesterday, up to 98.4 on Bitcoin. If you want to trade Bitcoin, by the way, or altcoins, there's a link to BTCC underneath the video. I actually just put an XRP trade on yesterday. I said, hey, we're bouncing right off previous resistance. And yeah, XRP had some news with RLUSD, and my trade is up 80%. Again, if you want to try this out, there's a link underneath. You get a 10% deposit bonus on your first time deposit and lower trading fees when using that link. Now, Dennis Porter said it's happening. The most important announcement in Bitcoin is happening in less than 48 hours. The strategic Bitcoin reserve announcement will rapidly speed up the timeline for global Bitcoin adoption. History in the making, Bitcoin is winning. So we got that announcement yesterday. I brought it up in a couple of videos, but I think we really do want to be paying attention to it. And Dennis gave us a little bit of an idea for what they might be talking about. He said, I predict by the end of 2025, a strategic Bitcoin reserve will be established by one of the G7 countries, such as UK, Canada, US, Italy, Germany, France, Japan, and one BRICS member country. Then in 2026, the remaining members will fall like dominoes. Okay, so what I think he's announcing tomorrow, which is what I've said in the past, is some kind of state introducing legislation to buy Bitcoin. So not quite, the U.S. buying Bitcoin, so keep that in mind, but that is coming in just over 24 hours. In under 2 hours, we have CPI, which I'll probably be making another video by then, depending on how much news has come out. But CPI, which is expected to come in at 2.7% year over year. Obviously, a lot of people will be watching this to determine whether we can continue to cut rates. Last week we got a lot of good jobs numbers or pretty solid jobs numbers. So the markets are really looking for low inflation, good jobs, even if that means that maybe we don't lower rates quite as quickly as possible. The fact is that is good for the economy and is more of a long-term solution and long-term benefit to the crypto market. Now, Michael Saylor says MSTR is joining the NASDAQ 100 QQQ, backed by the ultimate strategic reserve, Bitcoin. The question isn't if we'll pass Microsoft's market cap, it's how fast. Obviously, talking about Microsoft shooting down their Bitcoin investment yesterday, or the option to buy Bitcoin. Microsoft, last time I looked, was around a $3 trillion market cap, MSTR around maybe 80 billion. So for them to pass, they would have to go up about 35x or something like that. Not saying that it's not possible, but it will take a little while for them to do that, probably more than a few years. Now, with that in mind, I'm not bearish on MSTR, and I actually think this is really good for MSTR and good for Bitcoin in general. MSTR being added to the NASDAQ 100 means that they'll get more passive flows when people buy the QQQ or QQQM or other NASDAQ-related products. They'll be buying MSTR. That will force up the price of MSTR and allow them to have a bigger premium, which allows them to sell more shares, which allows them to be able to get their hands on more Bitcoin. So I think this is beneficial. They'll probably be added to the S&P 500 as well at some point, but there's a restriction for profitability with the S&P 500. So after this first quarter, they might be included because of the change in the accounting rules where it will make MSTR very profitable this first quarter. So be on the lookout for that. A lot of passive flows, just passively buying Bitcoin. So that's kind of interesting. I've talked about how that's going to be a big changing point for Bitcoin is when Bitcoin's included in retirement accounts and people don't even realize that they're buying Bitcoin. In a way, they'll be doing just that, just on a much smaller level, right? Instead of a 5% allocation to Bitcoin or something and 5% to bonds and 90% to stocks, it will be like 0.05% or something to MSTR. I don't know the exact percentage, but it'll be a small amount to MSTR, which is essentially Bitcoin, leverage Bitcoin. So good for everyone. They'll have some allocation to Bitcoin, the best performing asset on earth. Kenya also getting their hands on some Bitcoin. Kenya's National Fire Brigades Association adds Bitcoin to the balance sheet. I have no idea how much they're buying. I don't really know anything about Kenya, but good for them getting their hands on some Bitcoin. We also have Fidelity and BlackRock buying large amounts of Bitcoin and Ethereum today. Fidelity bought 2,160 Bitcoin. Thomas from Hey Apollo says, I don't know who's selling, but the ETFs are stacking like mad right now. Fidelity also had $200 million in flows for their ETH ETF. So about 200 million for Bitcoin, 200 million for Ethereum. They're not the only ones buying. We have BlackRock buying about $81 million worth of Ethereum and about 3,065 Bitcoin. So yeah, they bought another $300 million worth of Bitcoin, 81 million of Ethereum. It's day after day with these guys. So the flows from yesterday around 500, 600 million or so for the Bitcoin ETFs. And overall, the whole crypto market is looking pretty solid here today. You can see Bitcoin up to 98.4 within spitting distance of 100K. Ethereum back to 3,700. XRP up to $2.37. Solana up to 225. BNB just under 700. Cardano back over $1. Let's see what's really running today. Okay, we have BitGet token up 8% or something. Radium up 20%. XDC up 11%. So yeah, there are some big movers, but you know, it's not like what it was a week or so ago when we were seeing multiple alts go up 30% in a day. So it'll be interesting to see how this all shakes out. Obviously, there's going to be some news here very soon with CPI. It seems like every single day there's some big piece of news that seems like it really changes the market. I hope you're doing well. Again, if you want to trade, make sure you understand the risks of leverage trading. Make sure you understand the risks of using centralized exchanges. But there's a link underneath the video to BTCC. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.